What's up guys, today I'm going to be showing you everything you need to know about Zenless Zone Zero. Now the first thing you're going to want to do is play the game. Anyways guys, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like that, subscribe. Hoyoverse is that one mom you've met who may or may not be single and is living with like 5 or more children. Like, she just loves having kids and somehow you never see her struggling. Like, somehow she manages to get by with a million kids. Hoyoverse has had 9 kids. And they're still getting by. I'm not one to comment on Chinese work ethics or traditions, but they must be doing something right. I mean, up until a few years ago, China was only allowed 2 children per family, and sure, not all of their games blew up in success, but the one that did blew up for good reason. This is the wrong game. On September 28th of 2020, the global death toll for COVID surpassed 1 million. And so did Genshin Impact's downloads. Unlike other open world games, this one was free. As in $0. This was considered insane at the time. What's even more insane was the sheer amount of content it received both at launch and 4 years later. But if I had to describe Genshin with one word, it would be overwhelming. I mean, it's not even an open world game anymore. It's a card game, it's a fishing game, it's a fucking cat petting simulator.
Okay.
The only type of petting you Genshin fans are doing is pedophilia. Fast forward a few years and miHoYo releases yet another gacha game, Honkai Star Rail, which I'm sure also needs no introduction, but I'm gonna introduce it anyway. Apparently, this game is connected to Honkai Impact 3rd, which is a different universe from Gun Girl Z, which is called Honkai Gauken 2, but all 3 run on their own narratives, so it's like a standalone game, but still has a girl from the previous games reincarnated or something. It's a turn-based RPG. And I was dreading to play this solely because of the genre. I mean, Genshin was already ginormous, so completely stripping the exploration aspect from their gacha game formula, yeah, this game isn't for everyone. But at least the premise of the game was a bit more interesting. I'd rather go around exploring planets in a giant space train than... I picked up both of these games before their first anniversary and got decently far in both, but to be honest, I don't know why. It might have been peer pressure or a way to kill time or simply the dreaded FOMO, but I can't exactly describe my experience as fun. Entertaining, yes, but not fun. Genshin and Honkai are both very comparable. They both follow over-designed anime characters that use the same models, you equip them with shit to upgrade, there are daily commissions, each chapter has a big baddie to kill, they shove a bunch of side content in your face at every corner, and because neither of these games are finished, there's always something to do. You never feel like you're gonna run out. Now, this might sound great on paper, but when I say the games throw a lot at you, I mean a lot. Most of the time, this content doesn't even have anything to do with the main story, and when it does, it makes it as convoluted as all shit. These games aren't at all accessible to new players, especially with all the content that people will need to catch up on. Now, this would all be fine and dandy, right? I could overlook the sheer size and scope of these games, and you could argue that it's just world building for people who care about the lore. And this would all be fine if it wasn't so fucking boring.
Boring? I mean, why do I even bother?
These games are a slog fest. You have to wait forever for a character to stop talking, only for the character to tell you go here, to another character that you have to wait to stop talking, follow the character, do a little fighting, talk some more, and then repeat that like 1,000 times. This is just the story portion. The gameplay isn't much better. In Genshin, you click a button over and over and occasionally switch characters to pop an ultimate, then switch back and keep mashing. In Honkai, the gameplay doesn't even involve gameplay! And that's not even mentioning the dailies or limited time events that are just an excuse to get you to play their game longer and give them your money. At what point does a game stop being a game and start being a chore? Now, I could go on and on about microtransactions bad, and I understand that I shouldn't be complaining because both of these games cost a whopping $0. But even if you spend $0 and feel overburdened by everything the games make you feel like you have to do, you're gonna be asking for your money back. But even if you ignore all that, even if you just play the game normally with the characters they give you and only ever do story quests and nothing else, you're gonna feel disappointed in some way. Genshin Impact in its current state is a nightmare for casuals and completionists alike, and Honkai Star Rail is a convoluted mess that focuses too much on lore and not enough on story. But what if I told you Hoyoverse made yet another game? Hoyoverse fans have probably already heard of Zenless Zone Zero long before its release. Hoyoverse haters probably heard about it through like ads or sponsors or a video about how smooth the animation is. but the release window between this game and Honkai is a lot shorter than the window between Genshin and Honkai, but I guess that's to be expected when they're updating the story as they go along. I watched gameplay before release, and to be honest, I rolled my eyes. I've been disappointed twice already before, and this new game wasn't looking all that promising either. Sure, the cutscenes were bouncy and alive, and the characters seemed interesting, but I knew deep down that it was all surface level stuff, and that in reality, I'd just get trapped in a cycle of content I wouldn't want to do. Despite this, I decided to give Hoyoverse one last chance. I downloaded the game on launch day, played it every day since, and it pains me to say that Zenless Zone Zero is incredible. Frankly, I wasn't expected to be blown away by a game that looked like it fit right in with the rest of the gacha slop on the Google Play Store. I mean, come on, there's an anime girl on the freaking icon. You'd be at least somewhat wary to download. Wait, it's not just anime girls? Is that a wolf? Is that a bear? Ladies and gentlemen, we did it! Hoyo's same face syndrome has finally been cured! And on top of that, the story actually makes sense this time! Hallelujah! The one time they decide to add a skip button, I don't actually feel incentivized to use it because I love these characters! They're all incredibly unique in their own way. For once, they don't hurt to look at, and their names are actually pronounceable!
I am Fischl, Prinzessin der Verurteilung. Responding to
My
the
loyal
cry of
subjects.
my ring the
People
bell.
in our
Your
sound the
trumpet permits me to
judgment.
And what's this? Protagonists with actual personalities are both working together in the story? Finally, I can have a sibling that doesn't fuck off in the first few seconds of the game or just straight up doesn't exist. The gameplay is actually fun this time, and they're split between exploration segments and combat segments. In exploration, you pilot your bang boo through some TVs as if you were actually controlling it through a holo. These TV segments can get especially creative with their puzzles and method of traversal. The combat segments are the real bread and butter of CZZ. This is where you actually get to slash through waves of enemies to progress. I've heard a lot of people have gripes with both the exploration and combat of CZZ, with the former being too long and boring and the latter being too straightforward and easy, to which I have to ask, are we playing the same game here? The TV's puzzle segments reward players who stop to peek around every nook and cranny, and if you decide to speed through them, they don't take very long and are almost always accompanied by a fight or two. These are much more intuitive than, say, janky-ass platforming or unlocking doors or whatever the fuck this is. I just wanna get I'm going towards the waypoint. But okay, I know you people hate using your brain, so let's look at the combat instead. There's dashing, dodging, parrying, assists, specials, combos, ultimates. Certain characters have their own gimmicks, certain characters have their own moveset, and there's actual skill involved here. As much as it may look like it at first, this is far from a mindless hack and slash. You wanna see what a mindless hack and slash looks like? Well, I don't know about Slash, but this is just a fucking hack. Music has never been a real issue with any of these Hoyoverse games, really. I mean, I know Genshin's open world, so the most you're gonna be hearing is Honkai's music is more sci-fi, but it's pretty serviceable too, even if the combat themes are forgettable and drowned out by characters shouting out.
Creations!
But Zenless Zone Zero? Zenless Zone Zero has I've also seen a lot of people compare this game to Persona, which honestly isn't super accurate, at least as far as gameplay goes. You still get to sorta choose what you want to do throughout the day, and there are characters you can hang out with to deepen your trust with them, which I may add is a genius concept. Honkai dabbled a little bit into this by letting characters you meet along your journey show up inside the Astral Express, but CCC takes this world building to an entirely new level. The characters feel like characters. Hell, so do the NPCs for that matter. Holy shit, the NPCs. The days of stupid-ass Timmy and seeing the same model everywhere are behind us. Zenless Zone Zero can't really be compared to Persona, but it can't be compared to its predecessors either. It feels like its own thing. And sure, I still have nitpicks, but not enough to warrant me feeling ripped off. Despite a lot of the Hoyoverse elements being there, this doesn't feel like a Hoyoverse game. and that is a good thing. Now, this may all be due in part by the freshness of the game. It came out like a couple weeks ago. Of course, it's going to be limited in content, but it still feels compact, especially compared to Genshin's release. Instead of giant-ass quests that make you run around everywhere with even longer side quests sprinkled in the middle of it that add nothing, the story is streamlined and easy to understand, with side quests being mostly tied to the overworld, making them completely optional with whether or not you want to have them show up in your to-do list to begin with. It's a combination of both better gameplay, better story, and quality of life improvements that really make ZZZ stand out compared to its predecessors, like faster dailies or letting you grind for multiple different materials at once, or a skip button in the one game where I don't feel like skipping the dialogue. It's asinine how Genshin doesn't have this, despite having cutscenes that are 15 times as long.
Navia, what was your mother like as a person? Oh, Paimon, sorry. She totally forgot that you mentioned before that she passed away during childbirth, so you probably don't remember her at all.
Everything in this game takes fucking forever to do. I mean, just look at how fast the battles are in comparison. Game cutscenes should show, not tell, and because ZZZ has more freedom with character design, it allows their personalities to be more apparent at first glance. Just look at the cutscene when you first meet Victoria Housekeeping. In a mere 2 minutes, the game teaches you everything you need to know about 4 amazing characters, 2 of which, at this point in the game, you've already briefly met. I'm making it sound like I'm sponsored by these guys, but I'm not. There's just that much to gush about. It may have taken them 4 years, but I think Hoyoverse is definitely on the right track, to the point where I'm actually looking forward to what they'll make next. Oh. That's McDonald's. Oh, they added the police. They added the police to the